Alright, number 4, we're going to factor this and then put our answer. So another thing I want to point out is that each problem you want to look at how they want you to put your answer. Right now we've been asked to write it as a fraction, reduce to lowest terms, and then some problems want us to round to 2 decimal places. And so you got to be mindful of the form that they ask for, because if you put the fraction form and they want a decimal, then you'll get it wrong. Even though your answer may be equal to the correct answer, it won't be in the right form, so be careful with that. But with number 4, we want just to factor this out. It's not a well, it is a quadratic, but it doesn't have all the parts, so it'll be a little bit easier. We have 6y squared plus 18y. 6y squared plus 18y equals 0. So it's already said equal to 0. We have 2 terms, so I'm just going to factor out what do they have in common. So both of these numbers are divisible by 6, and they both have y. So I'm going to factor out a 6 and a y, 6y. And in parentheses, what do I have left? Divide by 6 is 1. Take 1y out. That leaves us with 1y. And then 18 divided by 6 is 3. It's going to be positive. And then take a y out. We have no y's left. So we have, and this is equal to 0, 6y and then y plus 3. So 6y, we're going to set that equal to 0. And then y plus 3, set that equal to 0. Now to solve for y, we just have to divide by 6. And then 0 split 6 ways is still 0. So y equals 0 is one answer. And then subtract 3, and we get y equals negative 3. So these will be our 2 answers here, 0 and negative 3. And then number 5. So we got some big numbers here, so we'll use the calculator again. So we have z squared minus 10z plus 25 equals negative 144. So again, we're going to change this to standard form first. I have to set it equal to 0. So I have to add 144 and move it to its like term. And that's going to give us z squared minus 10z. And then this is plus, when we add these two together, 169 equals 0. Alright, same process. First number, last number, 169. We're going to list the factors of 169. We are looking for 2 numbers that add to give us 10. I'm going to take factors of 169, add them, and get 10. Now this one wants us to solve with the square root method, so I'm doing it different, but I'll show you what that means as well. But I'm going to continue doing the factoring. That's the easiest. If it factors, I recommend to factor it. So where's calculator? We're going to turn this on. I'm going to go back to y equal. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to type 169 divided by x, and then we're going to do second table to see the list. Now, since I arrowed down, it doesn't start at 1, so I'm going to arrow back up just to see the beginning. So 1 and 169, and then these are not whole numbers, so just keep going down. None of these are whole numbers, none of them are whole numbers. You got 13 and 13, and that'll probably be the only one. 13 and 13. Now, you can't add these, to get 10, that's going to give you 26. And if I did 1 and 169, that does not add to give me 10. So this problem will not factor, like we can't solve it by factoring. Now, the square root method is a little bit different, but since we're here, let me just show you. We're going to do quadratic formula. That's going to be the next best. Quadratic formula will always work. I'm sorry, this is all in the way once I did that. So this problem won't factor. We're going to do quadratic formula. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, this is the standard form. You need to identify a, b, and c as from your problem. A is 1, b is negative 10, c is 169. And we're going to plug it into the negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 ac minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So this is the quadratic formula. We're going to be plugging everything in and solving it this way. So when I plug in negative 10 to an already negative number, it's going to become positive. So this is going to be 10 plus or minus the square root of negative 10 squared, b squared, minus 4 times a, the number out front is a 1, 4 times 1, times c, which is 169, all divided by 2 times 1. Okay, so this is plugging it into the quadratic formula. Now, I can do most of this by hand, but I'm going to let the calculator just number crunch all of this at the same time. So, just to speed up the process. I'm going to second and quit to go back home, and then I'm going to type all this in at once. So, parentheses. There's a difference between the minus and the negative. So the negative is below the number 3. If you put a minus in place of a negative, it won't come out correct. So make sure you use the negative when you need negative. And here it really doesn't make a difference because when you square it, that's going to come out positive anyway. So negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 169. And this is just going to give me the answer to what's under the square root. So that is a 576, negative 576. So I'm wrapping around here. I'm going to keep working left to right. So I have a positive 10 plus or minus square root of negative 576 all divided by 2, because 2 times 1 is going to give us 2. Alright, so now we need to see if 576 is a perfect square. I believe it is. Should be 24. And since we have a negative here, it's going to be imaginary 24. So we'll have an imaginary number. But let's double check. Second, the x squared button. We're going to do 576. Now, if you put the negative in there, the calculator won't solve it, so you just need to know that it's going to be imaginary when you see that negative. So 24. So when we evaluate that, we get 10 plus or minus 24i all divided by 2. Now both these terms are divisible by 2, so we're going to do that. It's going to give us 5 plus or minus, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. So we get two answers. We get 5 plus 12i, and then we get 5 minus 12i. So these are our two answers here.